Today, the lesson is on business correspondence, writing memos, learning outcomes. At the end of this lesson, students will be able to know the structure of a memo and write memos effectively. So, what is a memorandum? A memorandum, more commonly known as a memo, is a short message or record used for internal communication in a business. Was a primary form of internal written communication, memorandums have declined in use since the introduction of email and other forms of electronic messaging. However, being able to write clear memos certainly can serve you well in writing internal business emails, as they often serve the same purpose. So, memo writing. Memos are used only for inter-office correspondence. That is to say, they are not sent outside companies. They may be sent within a branch network. Now let's look at what is the purpose of writing a memo. They bring attention to problems and they solve problems. Also, they accomplish their goals by informing the reader about new information. For example, policy changes, price increases, persuading the reader to take an action as in attending a meeting, change a current production procedure, likewise. So let's look at how to write a memo. There are some general tips that you can use when writing memos. The first thing is, memo should not be lengthy because it will be tiresome to read. Summarize as much as you can. Second thing, use simple English. That means you should not use complex language while writing your memo because the readers maybe end up missing important points and your memorandum will not have served its purpose. Thirdly, and most importantly, avoid simple grammar and spelling errors. A simple spelling mistake may confuse the intended information that you need to convey. And also it might create chaos, especially if it's a critical matter that affects the organization. So make sure that you avoid grammar and spelling errors. Here you can see the structure of a memorandum. The first thing is the header. That means you have to write on the top, it's memorandum. And to whom? So here the GTS sales staff, those are the recipients. And from whom? That is the name of the sender. Then if you want to CC someone, you can add that also. And then the date. Next is the subject. That means the topic of the memo. And the rest of this part is the body of the memo. So let's discuss in detail each part of memorandum. Now, the format of a memorandum. The first one is the header. At the top of the page, you should indicate that it's a memo in capital letters, as I told you before. This helps you to give identity to your document. Also, then you have to add the recipient's address. So immediately after the header, you should write the recipient's address. Be official in writing the name of the recipient, whether it's one person or a group of people. So, the address helps the readers know to whom the memo is being addressed. You should also include other recipients if you wish your memo to be addressed a different group of people. When you have more than one recipient, you can use the previous format. For example, the GTS staff in the previous format. The sender. After recipient address, you should indicate where the memo is coming from. That means write your name and your position if you have one so that the reader can be able to know you. Then the date. So date is also another important segment in a memorandum. That is because you can know the date is important because it distinguishes the old and new memos in notice board. Then the title. After the date, you should write the title of the memo. In the title, you should indicate what the memo is all about clearly. The title carries a heavy weight in your memo because it should tell the reader what the memo is all about in shortest words. The body. The second part of the memo format is the body. You should keep your memo as short as possible by avoiding more stories in the body paragraphs. The body of the memo anyway can be divided into three segments. The first one is the opening segment. So this contains the purpose of the memo. The introduction should be brief and approximately the length of a short paragraph. This can vary from organization to organization. The second part is the context. The context is the event, circumstance, or the background of the problem you are solving. The third part is the closing segment. Close with a polite ending that states what action you want your reader to take. So here you can see a sample memo. So if you want, you can use your office logo and all, and to whom it's written, from, the date, subject, and also the body part. So here, of course, it is the opening part, then the context, and then the closing segment. So let's do an activity. Write a memo based on the following guidelines. You are the merchandising manager of a garment office. Write a memo addressed to the staff merchandising department with current date. Inform them that Mr. John Snow will be in Sri Lanka from 17th of April to 20th of April. Also inform them that he will be visiting our factory on 18th of April. He will be meeting the senior merchandisers at 10 a.m. in the boardroom. Their attendance is compulsory, so they should come prepared to answer any questions. Finally, sign off appropriately. There are some more activities where you can do in the other Word document. Hope you understood the lesson well. Have a nice day.